It is the 29th of the 11th, 2025. The time is 15 minutes past 9. And ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, we have ourselves some breaking news. Now, for months, there's been speculation around Racing Bulls and Oracle Red Bull Racing lineup, driver pairing for next year. Maximilian Verstappen obviously will be staying for one more year at the very least, but who will accompany him? Historically, it's been chaos. It's been Danny Rick. It's been Checo. It's been Tsunoda-san most recently and Liam Lawson. And none of them have met the mark. Tsunoda-san 7 races back to back to back and no points scored. What are we doing? Christian Horner once upon a time said we can't run a Constructors' Championship race only on one leg. Therefore, we need ourselves a decent second driver, just like Checo Perez, Mexican Minister of Defense, was in 2021. Fast enough, just fast enough to be dangerous, not to cause Max Verstappen too many issues or give anybody kittens, to be a lean, function and agile F1 team, but fast enough to cause the other team problems. Tsunoda-san wasn't that. Liam Lawson was not that. Danny Rick couldn't do that in the dying embers of a career. So who was it gonna be? Who were they gonna promote? There's been a lot of chat about Arvid Lindblad, potentially that he could be the next one. Exploits reminiscent of Max Verstappen's over at the Norris ring. God tier in the wet, changeable conditions, and some say that that's the litmus test of all good F1 drivers. But then there was a chap called Isack Hadjar, was there not? But again, his entrance into F1 wasn't too hot, yeeting it into the barrier on the formation lap nonetheless at the Australian Grand Prix. However, since he's been the rookie of the season, he can take that to the bank. Dr. Helmut Marko spoke about Isack Hadjar in terms that were not less than glowing, saying that he's plenty quick, that his gift is just like Maximilian Verstappen's in that he doesn't take 10 or 15 or 20 laps to learn a brand new track, that he just rocks up at all these new tracks that he has no previous experience of and nails it within 2 or 3 laps. That's Jim Clark's settings, is it not, chat? So what was going to happen with Yuki? Well, some said that Honda, because they're now in partnership with Aston Martin, would not be prepared to foot the $20 million that they've been paying erstwhile to Oracle Red Bull Racing, the Bulls that are red, to sponsor Yuki Tsunoda's stay there. That's what they said. So what's Yuki Tsunoda going to do? Well, who knows? And who cares, quite frankly? Because he can go and do whatever he wants to do. Yuki Tsunoda obviously is a good lad, but the speculation was this, that potentially it would be Isack Hadjar. But now we get confirmation, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury. This chap that Dr. Helmut Marko rates so highly, that Max Verstappen has been rating so highly for the longest time. This chap, Le Petit Professeur, the man who they refer to as the little Alain Prost, the Algerian Frenchman, he'll be at Red Bull Racing next year. How do I know? Well, all F1 journals are created equally, but some are created more equal than others. On Ted's notebook just now, not less than half an hour ago, Ted leaked it and told us. I feel like this story is embargoed somehow. Ted says that this will come out, it's due to come out next week, but on arriving for the Qatar Grand Prix, Isack Hadjar couldn't help himself. Big mouth Isack. So too Tsunoda-san, realising that he will no longer have a seat at the Formula 1 inn, was quite open, saying that he couldn't say anything, but this is what it is, that he'd been negotiating with the Bulls that are red, but they found new pastures. That has a name. He has a name, and his name is Isack Hadjar. Don't believe me? Well, let me roll you this clip, courtesy of Ted Kravitz over at Sky Sports F1. Roll the clip.
Job by Isack Hadjar, and I can save you the announcement that all these nice people on the socials are going to make next week, that Isack Hadjar will be joining Max Verstappen at Red Bull Racing. They've both been told. Yuki's been told. Isaac's been told. Isack couldn't contain his excitement when he came to us on Thursday and has been told but can't tell us. And Yuki couldn't contain his disappointment when he came to us on Thursday that he's been told and he's a bit sad about it. So I think it's going to be announced next week. I hope we haven't previewed some kind of announcement that Isack Hadjar will be moving to Red Bull Racing and leaving Racing Bulls. We don't know who's going to be joining Liam Lawson at Racing Bulls, but we think it's probably going to be Arvid Lindblad leaving Yuki Tsunoda out of Formula 1. But we all will become clear next week if I haven't given it all away already. Talking about
What do you mean if you haven't given it away, Ted Kravitz, Mr. Attention Seeker himself? You gave it all away, but I'm not mad at it. This is why Ted Kravitz is the goatiest one, and why Ted Kravitz's notebook post every single session is compulsory viewing. Ted Kravitz telling us that Isack Hadjar will get the promotion to the big table, the seat alongside one Maximilian Verstappen. Some say one soon to be five-time champion, as at 2026. Oh, the humanity chat, meaning therefore Sonoda-san, Gonzo, Arvid Lindblad alongside Liam Lawson. Well, do you know what I mean? We've been predicting that for the longest time, haven't we? Let's deal with Racing Bulls first. Arvid Lindblad looks like a god tier one. Potential off the scales, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, if Ted Kravitz is right. All F1 journalists are created equal. However, lest we forget, but not all F1 journalists are created equal than others. Did he mess it up? All F1 journalists are created equally, but some are created more equal than others. Ted Kravitz is one of the god tierest ones, so you can trust him. Therefore, Arvid Lindblad, Mr. Potential. Dr. Helmut Marko told us that he rates him highly, that he has something in him. Not quite Maximilian Verstappen. That would be an exercise in futility per se, but potentially the next young hungry lion, the next Red Bull champion. You saw him in F1 nailing it quicker than Sonoda-san, wasn't he? Again, that's potential. About Hadjar, I mean, didn't start off on the right foot, but bloody Nora, since then, oh the humanity. He's proven himself every bit as fast as the next best rookie. Antonelli was meant to be that guy, but I would argue that Isack Hadjar has proven himself the jewel in the F1 crown. Of course, Red Bull had to promote him. Red Bull for the longest time prided themselves on promoting young, hungry lions, talent, and Isack Hadjar is a product of that Red Bull Junior program, and he's improving himself every bit capable in his rookie season, no less. So let's forward forecast. What does he look like in year 5 and 6 when he's got some experience, when he's more level-headed, even of hand? He said already that he goes to the mental health. He's already been talking to sports psychologists, and I think that too is worthy of mention. Isack Hadjar is fast as fudge, reflexes of a cat. I only need to go back and look in F2 when he was in Monaco and had to avoid the Japanese driver in front of him. He's a god tier one, this Isack Hadjar, and I think, as my final supposition, my principal thesis, that Red Bull might have made a good shout here. I think in the first instance, if they can build themselves a car and Maximilian Verstappen, an RB22 capable of challenging for races and championships, therefore, I think Isack Hadjar has everything in him capable of doing what Checo, what Danny Rick, what Sonoda-san and Liam Lawson, what none of them could do. That is, of course, being quick enough, competent enough to be dangerous, to interject in the fight for the Drivers' Championship in a way that Sonoda-san hasn't managed to this year. Plus, it's not as if they don't need to build themselves a god-tier car. And to do that, you do that as a function of feedback. They've already said that while Sonoda-san's feedback is good, Isack Hadjar's is a next level above, particularly normalising for the fact that this is his rookie season, his first one. Isack Hadjar, therefore, bravo. Red Bull Racing, Oracle Red Bull Racing, in promoting that chap alongside Maximilian Verstappen in 2026. What are we doing here?